Hey everybody! Today we're going to learn the daily Tanya for Tet Iyar Tafshin Pei Dalet. So just to go over what we learned last time, we talked about how the light of Hashem unites with the neshamas, the guf, the nefesh, all parts of Am Yisrael, and that union is like a union of a bride with a bridegroom. And we talked about how the union of Am Yisrael with Kadosh Baruch Hu, when a Yid is doing mitzvahs, that union is so unbelievably complete that one could say about him that he is Kadosh like a Kadosh Baruch Hu, which is wild thing to say, an absolutely wild thing to say by any standard for any religion. And trust me, I've learned about a religion or two, and that is an absolutely wild statement. And he briefly talks about how the difference between and he says this happens in everybody, even though it is only the tzaddikim who feel this. Okay, that they see Olam Haba in this world. All right, so let's get started. And this is what Asaf says in Ruach HaKodesh in Tehillim. Bad kol Knesset Yisrael shebagola, and he says this in the name of all of Knesset Yisrael, which are in Golas. V'ani ba'ar v'lo eda, and I am, and I am ignorant, and I do not know. Behemot haiti imach, I was like an animal with you. V'ani tamid imach, but I am with you always. Klomar, so he explains this pasuk. What does it mean? What does it mean I'm an animal? What does all this mean? Klomar, she'af al pi shani kebehema, so even though I'm like an animal when I'm with you, and I don't feel this union in my soul. I don't feel it. What does it mean that I don't feel it? He is more precise. So my soul doesn't immediately tremble with the fear that obviously would be appropriate in that scenario. And after that, extreme, intense, passionate love, sort of a fulfilled love, sort of joyous love, okay, shveyesh, or that sort of fiery, passionate thirst for Hashem. Kemidat tzaddikim, like the tzaddikim do feel these things. So even though I'm not like the tzaddikim who do feel these things, she's the kechomram, whose the material of their body has become sort of more refined. Right? And das, that we say like to know, right? That I know that I'm with you, or I don't know that I'm with you, Hashem, right? So that's lashon hargasha b'nefesh. It's a feeling that one sort of feels in one's soul. And it includes chesed and gvura, right? Love and fear, as we talked about. Even so, I'm always with you. In truth, we are always with Hashem. Because in truth, the material world, or our material conditions, cannot actually stop our union with Hashem, which makes sense, right? Because He's not bound by the rules of the material world, so neither is our connection to Him. And as it is written, and darkness will not be dark for you, right? Like there's no darkness before Hashem, as His light is darkness. And with this we can begin to understand why the penalty is so severe for sort of profaning Shabbos, for being Mechal Shabbos, or for eating chametz on Pesach. That's leavened bread for all you people out there. How's this going to help us understand? Because these are hashaveh lechol nefesh. These belong to everybody. Lefi she'af benefesh bur v'amaretz gamur, right? Because even in the nefesh, even in the soul of the sort of lowliest person, me'ir ol kedushat Shabbat v'yom tov, the light and the holiness of Shabbos and Yom Tov, they impact that neshama, whether the people feel it or not. ולדאוג בנפשו לכרת וסקילה לחילול קדושה הזו, and for profaning, for being mechalal this kedusha, this holiness, one, ought to be punished, right? It makes sense. V'gam mashu chametz, or even just a little bit of chametz, infinitesimally small amount, can do this. Or tiltul muktzeh, or carrying something that is muktzah on Shabbos. Pogem b'kedusha shel nafsho. It sort of damages the kedusha that is being bestowed upon his neshama. And it does so in the same way that it does in the soul of a tzaddik, the soul of a righteous and holy man, right? The connection or the disconnection, factually speaking, is the same. Because we have one Torah. And the difference is that tzaddikim feel this, and we don't. We are not worthy of this. And here he's going to explain a sort of tangent. And when it says behemot, which means many animals, not just one, because I think he's saying, I am an animal with you. I'm as an animal, right? And he's saying, I am as many animals. So it's a little bit difficult to understand. What is he talking about? Liramez, this hints, because in comparison to Hashem Yitbarach, gam b'chinat dat ha'elyon, hakolel chesed u'gvura. So even when we do have knowledge of Hashem, we do have a sort of understanding, a grasp, a little bit. And even if we have the highest possible grasp we possibly can, we're like animals. When compared to Hashem's actual being, the understanding that we have is, again, only in his actions. And even if it's the most subtle and highest understanding we can, we're not understanding anything about Hashem's quote-unquote nature. Because even chokhmah is like just like action. It's external to Hashem. It's extrinsic to Hashem in the same way that action is extrinsic to us. And this sort of higher knowledge is called the great behema, or the sort of the higher animal, as we said somewhere else. And this corresponds to the name Ben, which in Gematria is Behema. You can look that up, which comes before Atzilus. That's some Kabbalah stuff we're not going to get into. And that's going to be it for today. We'll start a new parak tomorrow. Very exciting. And I'll see you then. Bye-bye.